Hey everybody. Hold on. Hey y'all. Alright, so I was encouraged to do this live because I personally feel like there's a lot of things that like we turn a blind eye to. And I know for myself in particular, there have been situations where I turned a blind eye to certain things, and on my walk with the Most High, a lot has been revealed to me about our sins, right? So for me in particular, I noticed like certain places that I was sinning, and I really had needed to ask the Lord to help me with some of these sins because like for the I like sometimes it's really hard, you know, and like I started to like dive more into the Bible, deeper into the Bible, and there are an array of things that are considered sins. And we might not really think that it's a sin. Like we might do it and we might not think that it's a sin, but it really is. And I started like questioning myself about certain things that I was doing. And like I just wanted to share some of them with you. So like maybe I don't know, like I just want us to be on a more like higher thought level when it comes to certain things that we're doing so that we don't hurt ourselves or hurt our neighbors. Thank you guys for the love and the support in the chat. I appreciate you. Nevertheless, um, something that somebody had brought to my attention um, was like wearing jewelry. You know, like wearing jewelry is a sin. So like I know that apostolic people, they don't wear jewelry and they don't wear makeup because in the Bible they think that it's a sin. Nevertheless, when I read the Bible and I read certain scriptures where it was talking about wearing jewelry or wearing makeup, on one hand, it says that the Lord had blessed his people with this jewelry, you know, and the adornments of the physical body. And he blessed them with these adornments because they literally were pure in his eyes. They held his commandments. They were committed to the Most High. So the Most High blessed them. And then at some point in time, through them being blessed, they started to, these people that God blessed with these adornments, they started to abuse their blessings that God gave them. So then it changed to God taking the adornments away, you know, from his people. And so on one hand, your physical adornments and how you adorn your body, it could be a sin in the fact of how you use it. Like if you're adorning yourself to be a snare, if you're adorning yourself to be lustful, if you're adorning yourself to please some outside source, if you're adorning yourself for validation from others, if you're adorning yourself, you know, just for something frivolous or something that just has no meaning, then it could be considered a sin. So like I thought about like certain jewelry that I have and like how I wear my jewelry, and I've been trying to understand why I don't wear my jewelry, but honestly I just really don't see a need to wear my jewelry that I do have, like my big earrings. Sometimes you'll see me, I have like all of these different colored earrings and some of them are big and XYZ, but like I haven't really been like moving towards that and haven't been wearing that jewelry, and I only wear my gold. Like I only wear, you know, my gold bracelets. It's simple. It's real simple. It's not nothing that's too extravagant or whatever. But like some people practice that wearing jewelry period is a sin because of the world that we live in. Like this world is so full of distractions. This world is so full of sin that even though we might not be sinning in that manner, it still could be a distraction, or it still could be something that leads us into sin. So exactly, and that's my point. Uniquely designed. That's my point. My point is like, if you're using these physical adornments and worshiping them, that's when it becomes a sin. So I had to like really understand that, because I was like about to throw all my jewelry away, and I was, you know, I was about to do all of these things, but honestly, I just I wear my jewelry when I'm moved to wear my jewelry. Like if something is happening and I'm moved like to wear it, I'll wear it. But for the most part, my things are away because I don't need to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like dyeing my hair. This was not impulsive, but this was something that I was feeling months before I did it. Like it was something that I was feeling months before I did it. And so that's when I just was convicted. Excuse me, I was convicted to do it yesterday. And so I did. And the Lord had provided me with the things to be able to do it. And so that's how I know that some of the decisions that I'm making are not because of what I want to do. Some of the decisions, most of the decisions that I'm making is because of what is what God wants me to do, what the Most High wants me to do, because I have a purpose, and He needs me to be in my purpose in a certain way so that it can be effective because of the world that we live in, and I understand that. So while I'm on my journey and I'm like, you know, going to church or reading the Bible or whatever it is, like you still have to have some level of discernment for yourself. You still have to confide in God with certain things that you're doing for yourself, because your journey is not the same. Your journey is not the same as the person standing next to you. So you have to be aware of the things that God wants you to do. You have to pray about that. You have to wholeheartedly open yourself up to what God needs and wants you to do. And never feel less than when you're around people. Never feel less than what God made you to be, because you are purposeful. Like you have a purpose, and the Lord is gonna make sure that you fulfill that purpose. Some things are even a season. So you have to understand that, and you have to realize that for yourself, and you have to be one with that. And always make sure that you're asking the Lord for the clarity that you need to be able to understand that, because for me personally, which I just had a whole epidemic of sin just a minute ago, nevertheless, I wasn't really sure about this one decision that I made, but I still made it. And after I made that decision, that's when like I reaped the consequences of making that decision. But what I should have did was I should have prayed harder, and I should have waited for that answer. But I didn't wait for that answer, so I still had to reap the consequences of the decision that I made. Nevertheless, there are other sins like I used to be a smoker. I used to be a smoker, and when I would smoke, I thought that it was helping me with whatever it was that I had going on, whether that be anxiety or helping my creative juice flowing or whatever the case may be. But really, I was hurting my own body, and so much to the point where I had got diagnosed with bronchitis. And you wanna get down? Wanna get down? gotta sit down. Ivy. Ivy. You gotta sit down. You gotta sit down. Here. Sit down. Sit down. Here, you want this? Sit down. You want this? You want this? You want it? Can you sit down? Okay. Here. Sit back. So yeah, so you know, that was a clear sign that I wasn't doing the right thing, and that was clear. It was clear that that was a sin. And so I was like, all right, cool. So I digressed off of that, and I have indulged in smoking, and that's not something that I want to continue to do. You know what I'm saying? So there are a lot of things that, what I'm saying in a nutshell is that there are a lot of things that we have to do as far as letting go of the things that no longer serve us, that we might not think doesn't serve us. We have to let go of these things to get closer to the Most High. And sometimes it's hard to do that because number one, it's something that we're used to doing. Number two is we think that it's not a sin because we're using it recreationally, or we're modest with how we do it or how we use it, or whatever the case may be. You know, number three is just not common because we live in an entire world where people are doing it at an all-time high, and you know, we're trying to find reasons why it would be okay to practice these certain ways of life, and really it's these ways of lives are just hindering us from becoming closer to the Most High. So I had to reevaluate my life. Like, what are some of the things that's in my life that's blocking me from being closer to the Most High? Like, you know, and it's not a sense of like beating myself, because I just saw somebody say don't beat yourself up, and it's not a matter of like beating myself up. It's a matter of seeking the truth. It's a matter of wanting to find the truth so that I can do the right thing, because I know that I'm not perfect, and I know that I don't have the answers. And the only way that I'm going to get the answers is if I ask questions, and if I ask, and if I actively work on changing certain things about myself, because in fact there are things that we do that hinder us from being closer to the Most High and not fulfilling the purpose that He has for us. And so for me personally, I want to live the purpose that God has for me. I don't want to be living some other alternative life. Like, I've been through things that the Lord revealed Himself to me in, but but that wasn't me. You know, that I know that that wasn't the whole purpose. I know that that wasn't the whole purpose that He had for me. That probably was a part of the purpose, but that's not. I know that that wasn't what God had in store for me, because what the Lord had told me and the vision that the Lord gave me from a very young age, and that it's still the same and it still hasn't changed. I know that I'm going to experience greater things than what I did in the past. It just was a matter of me being able to acquire that wisdom at a young age so that I can relate to people my age, older, younger, and etc., so that I can be able to have the voice to be, you know, have the voice to speak the wisdom, or, you know, have the wisdom to have a voice. You see what I'm saying? So I know for me, like, it's much bigger than what I initially thought when I was younger. My purpose is bigger than what I initially thought, and I'm learning. The more I'm seasoned, and the more I get older, I'm learning that certain habits and certain things that I do in my life and certain practices that I have, it affects how the Lord speaks to me. It affects how I hear the Lord speak to me. It affects my decision makings. It affects how much I'm actually living in my purpose. Like, it affects those things. And for me personally, I take that seriously. Like, some people might look at it as me beating myself up, but for real, I think that that's important because for me personally, and this is all personal, for me personally, I don't have a life where it's just like, okay, I could be with someone and just be with them and they're not good for me. Because somebody told me just recently, oh, well, because my personal belief is that if I'm going to be with someone, like intimately, like in a relationship with them, like wife and husband, I feel like our values and our morals and our standards need to be equally yoked. I believe in being equally yoked. And this one person was telling me, well, I see a lot of people who are in marriages and they're not technically equally yoked. Like they believe in one thing and the other person believes in another thing, and they still coexist. And I'm just like, well, that just really doesn't make sense to me, because ultimately what that says is that both people live two different lifestyles and they are not equally yoked, and eventually that means that they're ultimately not going to be together or not supposed to be together. So you're wasting time of being with someone who you're not supposed to be with, and you're never going to be able to get to your full potential and to the person who you're actually supposed to be with when you're not equally yoked. So with these things being variables in my life, I just take it seriously. Like I take my purpose seriously. I take what I'm here to live out seriously. I take my children's life seriously. And I might fail, which I have. I might not do the right thing. I might not make the best decision because I'm not perfect. But one thing I can say about myself is that I'm actively searching for the Lord. I'm actively searching for the right thing to do. So even if I did make the wrong decision or whatever the case may be, I'm going to repent for it, because the Lord eventually will expose to me what it was that I was doing wrong, because I'm in my mind, my body, my entire heart space is like, God, show me, God, lead me in Jesus' name. Like that's my spirit. And so I do feel like that, because that is a part of my character, that saved me. Like that saved me from times when I was in situations where I could have died multiple times, when I was in situations where my child could have died multiple times, when I was in situations where y'all saw me one day and y'all wouldn't have been able to see me the next. Like you know what I'm saying? So after I've evolved from being 21, 22, and 23, I have seen even more radical changes in my life, being that I worship the Most High more now, being that I seek the Most High's face more often now, being that I read my Bible more often now, being that I have um, strayed away from certain sins that I had. I can see how my life has changed, and that's the testimony. That's the testimony for me. And so sometimes I'm moved to talk. Stop, Eliana, stop screaming. It's not that serious. Stop. If you need something, come to me and tell me. You don't have to catch a temper tantrum and scream like that, Eliana. That's not okay. Because then when she does that, Avi does that, and that's more stress on me. No, absolutely not. You don't communicate like that. If you want to communicate, you come to me and you tell me what it is that you need. You do not scream, Eliana. So if you need something, come to me and ask me. So yeah, I can see all of the radical changes that are happening in my life, even when it comes to my own emotional well-being, even when it comes to parenting my children. Like there are a lot of things that I've seen in my life be 100% better with just the worship of the Most High alone, and not worrying about my outward appearance, not worrying about what someone is gonna think of me if I don't indulge in this sin with them today or tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, I'm actively living what I feel and I need to live. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I'm moved to talk about it, because the Lord is like, I want you to talk about this. Because obviously you inspire people. Obviously people have watched you. Obviously people are still watching you. So I'm going to use you, and I'm going to allow the Lord to use me. But I know that the Lord cannot use me if I'm committing sin. And whatever that looks like for me, You see what I'm saying? I know that I can't fully live in my purpose to be of service to you or to inspire you if I'm living in sin. You see what I'm saying? And so that's why I just was moved to talk about that today, because even yesterday I posted a YouTube video where y'all saw the canvas. It was all painted and stuff like that. And then y'all saw me just write it all out. Like, you just saw me take the white paint and I write it all out. And I told you not to be afraid to start over. Eliana, come to me. Eliana, come to me. And I told you not to be afraid to start over. And that's what I feel like I'm at in my life. I feel like I'm in another transformation. I'm in another, like, renewal period with the Most High. And there are certain things that the Most High is, like, provoking me to get rid of. Like things, like, even just down to certain clothes. I have to declutter and I have to get rid of these things, even when it comes to my diet. Like, in order for me to reach my full potential, I can't eat certain things, and I can't eat just any way. You see what I'm saying? So my whole life is revolved around this strict commandment that God has for me personally. And I believe that the Lord has that for each and every one of us. It's just that we have to be willing to ask for it and then receive it. A lot of us, I know for a fact, and I've been through this myself, we'll ask for the truth. We'll ask for the things that we need to change about ourselves to become closer to the Most High. But then when we see that that's not necessarily something that we anticipated or something that we don't want to necessarily get rid of in that moment, we stray away. And so when that happens, when we stray away from what God is telling us to do, the Lord will literally send us into a state of delusion. Like, He will let us be in that delusion, because you're not accepting the truth. You're not accepting what God is telling you to do in your life. But you're constantly praying for God to open up this door for you. You're constantly praying for God to show you something. You're constantly praying for God to remove these people from out of your life and put you in a better place. But you're not letting go of the necessary things to get you to where you want to be. And so that's what I feel like is going on with me right now in my life. Like, I need to declutter. I need to let go of certain things in order to elevate. Because if I don't, I will stay right where I am. And if I do things that go against where I currently am, I'll be going down. I'll be lowering my consciousness, and I wouldn't fully live I wouldn't fully live in God's grace that He has for me. And so that's basically what I just came on here to say, and encourage everybody to fall away from your sin, whatever that looks like for you. And just like a woman explained to me today, which was very great how she explained it, she said, whatever convicts you, like whatever sets you off in your heart that makes you feel like you're not supposed to be doing it, or that's something that you should digress from doing, that's a conviction from God, trying to tell you or trying to communicate with you to stop doing it. And so whatever that is, let it go, so that you can become more of who you're supposed to be. And we all might have ideas of who we are supposed to be, and that's cool and everything, but how much cooler is it to become more of what you how cool is it to become much more than what you think you're supposed to be? You see what I'm saying? And so that's where faith comes into play, because if you don't have faith in knowing that you can become someone greater than what you think, you're always going to limit yourself to whatever experience that you're having, by saying, well, I don't see myself growing past this. I don't see myself being this. You have to have faith in the sense that you're thinking about all the possibilities. You're thinking like God can take me anywhere. God can do great things for me. But if you don't have that faith, of course you're going to limit yourself. But I'm here to tell you that you don't have to limit yourself, because just for the simple reason that I had my first child and then I got pregnant the second time, I gonna do? I didn't know how I was gonna take care of my children. I contemplated abortion. I contemplated a whole bunch of things. You know what I'm saying? But when I had got the message from God to keep my child, when I got the message from God to keep my child, that's when I realized that I had to put my faith in something that I could not see, something that I could not taste, something that I could not touch. It was purely a belief that I would be taken care of, and I know that the Lord is going to take care of me. But see, the only reason why the Lord was able to take care of me was because I wasn't committing certain sin. Now, see, if I had committed certain sin during that grace period of the Lord taking care of me, when I had to put faith in knowing that He was going to take care of me and I didn't have nothing for myself, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't have the things that I have today. I wouldn't have the opportunity that I have today. If anything, I would be around other people that commit these same sins. But in fact, I can't be around a lot of people. Like I'm by myself majority of the time, and that's just the way that my life is right now, because I have a strict way that I live and I don't do certain things. And I have noticed that when I don't do these things and then I indulge in them, my life starts changing back to how it once was, and that's what I don't want. So if you see me beating myself up, or it looks like I'm beating myself up, it's not that I'm beating myself up. It's just that I take it seriously, because I don't want to be where I used to be. I'm trying to go forward. I'm trying to, be more of my greatest version of myself. You see what I'm saying? Thank you, Kiki T, for that donation or that love offering. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And so yeah, I just feel like today the Lord is convicting me to declutter and letting go of certain things that do not serve me, so that He can elevate me and raise me and put me and propel me to where I'm supposed to be. I know that this is not the end goal of the vision that the Lord has for me. So within, oh, why are you screaming? So in order for me to really get to where I need to be, I know that I can't smoke. I know that I can't have sex before marriage. I know that I can't have sex before marriage. I know that I can't wear just anything. I know that I can't just go out to the club. I know that I can't just do a lot of things. I can't just eat pork. I can't just drink milk from a cow. Like, I can't just do these things and expect God to fill me with His Spirit and fill me with the things that I need to propel me into my purpose. So I'm here to encourage you today, and also myself. Everything that I'm saying right now is a double-edged sword. I'm saying it to myself too, so don't think I'm just on here. Like, I'm encouraging myself as well. So I'm just here to encourage you, which I feel moved to encourage you too. Let go of the things that no longer serve you. Let go of the things that are holding you back from becoming the greatest version of yourself, and never limit who you think you can be when it comes to the Most High. Like, the Most High can do miraculous things with you, and don't think that just because you sin today that the Lord won't forgive you. Don't think that just because you might sin tomorrow that the Lord won't forgive you. What God is really looking at is our heart posture. He's looking at our actual character. How serious are you? And if you are the person that's committing yourself to elevating, if you're the person that's committing yourself to following the commandments that the Most High has for you, and if you are a person that is actively working on that, the Most High is going to bless you as you're rising. He's going to bless you as He's propelling you. And there will be up seasons and there will be down seasons, but that's the relationship that you have. That depends on the relationship that you have with the Most High, and you have to cultivate that relationship. And another thing, don't let outside forces try to persuade you to think or do anything. If you're learning the word, if you're learning something about yourself, go to God and pray about it. Go to God and make sure that you have the understanding that the Lord wants you to have, and not what somebody else wants you to have, so that you can be in your full glory. That is the key. The key is to be in your full glory, that the Most High has destined for you here on this physical earth plane before you part from it. So just make sure that you are actively establishing a relationship with the Most High and keeping that covenant and that agreement intact by continuously working on yourself and the things that the Most High wants you to stray away from so that you can become the greatest version of yourself. And so, with that being said, I love all of you, all of my fellow brothers and sisters. Sometimes I don't feel like I'm like into it, and sometimes I do. But just like you, I'm human and I'm not perfect, but I know that this is something that we all have to actively work on, and this is something that I'm actively working on within myself. So I'm about to go declutter. I'm about to go get rid of things that do not serve me, and I'm going to allow the Lord to use me in whatever way that looks, because I would rather do that than be in the world and live in sin, and that's just on period. So until next time, I hope you guys have a beautiful and blessed day. You know, just enjoy your day, enjoy your time with the Lord. You know, spend your time in the Word and really get that understanding for yourself. Don't let nobody else tell you or try to make you think like you should be doing something else. Get that understanding for yourself. And so with that being said, I love y'all, and I'll talk to y'all next time. Later.